Trump boasts the lowest inflation rate since 2021. New records are set. Welcome to Doug in Exile. Got my stitches out edition. Swelling's going down on my skin cancer surgeries. On this incredible news, and we're going to show you how the Democrats cover this too, which is hilarious. They're devastated. They're like, oh no, the Americans are experiencing some financial relief, and they're mourning. They're going to their 3 or 4 therapists. Here's the first tweet. JP Morgan drops US recession call. That's right. JP Morgan was in on the big lie. Remember, all the negative news on the first 100 days was we're in financial crisis, financial disaster. What are we going to do?
We're coming in a little bit lighter than expected. So we came in at 0.2% month over month. The street was looking for 0.3. So that's actually better than what the street thought was going to happen here. 2.3% is the headline number year over year. The street's estimate was 2.4. Yeah. So again, that's a lighter number than expected. 0.2% core month over month. The estimate was 0.3. Again, better than expected. Core year over year came in at 2.8%. That was actually in line.
All the good news so far, the inflation was expected to be much higher. And the numbers ended up in reality being much lower. This is the opposite of the effect of what happens with Biden. Remember, the Democrats on all of his jobs numbers, they would inflate them saying jobs are doing great and they have to adjust them down later. Well, on Trump, they predict much worse inflation and they were much lower, and he had much higher jobs numbers than they originally did. So they've been dogging him unfairly in the press. We're going to get into more of the economy, but I just want to show you this real quick, that the Democrat Party, what are they doing now? Well, they're losing. They're trying to oust David Hogg, the co-chair of the DNC. Statement from David Hogg today: the DNC took its first steps to remove me from my position as vice chair at large. So they're basically still out wandering in the wilderness. They have no plan. They have no leadership. I just want to go to this. This is a new trend among Black voters, no longer going for the African-American BS. They're calling themselves Black Americans.
And as a matter of fact, we no longer go by African American.
See, me personally, I've never went by African American. I've always went by I'm a Black American.
Black American. That's right. Your friends who called them African Americans were being racist. That's the new trend. All of the politically correct people that called them African Americans, guess what? Some of them don't think that their identity is in Africa. Bunch of Black Americans that are patriots. And I have a huge Dutch background. I don't care about Holland and the Dutch at all. I was born in America. I'm an American. Every bit as much as this guy is. He's an American. It's time to stop doing those Democrat labels that make you think your skin color and your genetics are your entire identity, which is a Darwinian falsehood. Now back to the economy. Look at this. Consumer prices rose to 2.3% in April compared to a year ago, cooling slightly from the previous month and defying fears of an inflation surge in the aftermath of President Trump's Liberation Day tariffs last month. Inflation eased in April, defying fears of a surge in the aftermath of Trump's Liberation Day tariffs. So it did not blow up with inflation. This is something we reported on last week with Scott Bessent saying, watch the consumer index, watch how they consume. And he said the consuming, it's not going off the charts, but it has not reduced, which is usually what happens during a recession. They're calling the big win on Trump. There's no other way to put it. Okay, look, here's CNN admitting defeat.
This morning, the opening bell just rang moments ago on Wall Street, and investors are responding to brand new inflation numbers. You see a little bit of a mixed bag there. NASDAQ up, S&P up, the Dow down just by a bit. But there is new data that just landed from the Labor Department showing inflation year over year actually slowed to the lowest annual inflation rate since February of 2021. CNN, Zane Asher, wearing the color of money this morning for us.
Lowest inflation rate since 2021. There is no better economic news. And CNN is, of course, having a cow over this news because they just wanted to report all the bad news. And lo and behold, it came out good.
Consumer prices month over month. So this was actually a drop of 0.1%, negative 0.1%. That's the first time we've seen that since COVID. Year over year, the annual inflation rate was at 2.4%. This was also better than expected, and a 6-month low moving in the right direction. As far as why this happened, there's a few drivers. One thing that really played a role here, as you can see the trend here, the inflation rate dipping a little bit. One of the drivers was energy. The fact that gasoline prices did not move up like they usually do in the month of March, that really helped the inflation.
I would say the country is economically healing. Gas was not as high as they thought the doom and gloom said it would be. And we heard literal news people lying the whole time saying gas is up, fuel is up, eggs are up. They're all down. Now, here's the hard numbers on it. It says inflation is down thanks to President Trump. Gas is down 11% year over year. Fuel oil, 9% down. Airfare down 8%. Propane, kerosene, and firewood down 5.6%. Public transportation down 5%. Energy down 3.7%. Major appliances down 3.6%. Fresh vegetables down 2.9%, hotels down 2%, car rentals down 2%, non-prescription drugs down 1.1%. And guys, this is just the easy wins for Trump. This is going to continue into next quarter. More and more sectors are going to come down. It's going to become more affordable. That's only because this has only been Trump's first 100 days. You ain't seen nothing. These tariffs are going to be the big good news story of the year. Here's Wolf Blitzer coming out of shock and therapy to tell you the good news.
U.S. inflation slowing, I should say, to its lowest rate in more than 4 years. That, according to April's Consumer Price Index report. It's an unexpected and very welcome development that's defying economists' expectations amid President Trump's ongoing trade war.
Defying Democrat economists and the media that lied to us all. The experts, big surprise, right? The experts lied again about Trump and his economic policy. Just think of what would happen if Biden or Kamala Harris won. It would still be skyrocketing. Inflation, the price would be going up. They'd be going after all the businesses for what they call price gouging.
Walk us through this morning's report. Where do things stand?
Encouraging signs, Wolf. Inflation continuing to move in the right direction, cooling on an annual basis to 2.3%.
It's encouraging signs, Wolf. Are you happy yet? Ooh, here's a chart. Look at this one. This shows the line of consumer inflation hitting the 4-year low. So here, look at this peak inflation. What happened in this time? Oh, it's 2022. Biden happened. He was the inflator in chief. This from the Western Journal. Look at Trump's happy face there. Breaking new inflation numbers crush the Democrats' narrative about Trump's tariff strategy. This does play into that they're lying to you about tariffs with their fear-mongering. Here's another clear graphic that shows you the difference. Inflation, average monthly inflation under Biden, 5%. Average monthly inflation under Trump, 1.9%. That being in the green, that means that compared to your paycheck, goods are costing less in real money.
And the Consumer Price Index shows inflation is cooling. Prices rose 0.2% in April, up slightly from March, but lower than analyst expectations. And prices are up 2.3% compared to a year ago. That's the lowest annual increase in more than 4 years. What do these numbers tell you about the state of the economy?
Well, I think this is, as you mentioned, lower than anticipated. But it really belies what we expect the long-term impacts of the tariffs to be. I think ultimately this is a short-term view of a few weeks after the tariffs were announced. It may take a few months until some of this starts to work its way through the system and actually reach the consumer.
Give it a few more months to where it'll be even better. I'm going to take you back to the Trump campaign. This is November 4th, 2024 in Pennsylvania. And look at Trump making this promise to the American people.
I will restore peace in the world and I will rescue the American dream. Together we will begin the 4 greatest years in the history of our country and we will launch the most extraordinary economic boom. If you vote for Kamala, you will have 4 more years of misery, failure, and disaster. Our country may never recover. A vote for Trump means your groceries will be cheaper. So many people mention, I go in So many people mention groceries at
He campaigned on lowering grocery prices and lowering Biden's disastrous inflation. That's a promise made, and this is another promise kept. And the Democrats are mourning that things are easier, financially easier on all of us. I'm Doug in Exile. Please subscribe, get me to 1 million subs.